Uh-oh. Quick, before Eric gets here, go to surrealtalkpodcast.com, vote Everett in the poll. Ah, shit.
Pretty sure I spelled sprinkler wrong.
Where?
In your text message, did you not get it?
I didn't look.
It said I was out rolling my windows up because it's sprinkling.
Sprinkling? Isn't that right? Sprinkling? Sprinkle?
Is there an E in there? Or is the I replace the E?
I don't know.
I couldn't tell you.
We got a group going here. What's up, everybody? Good morning, Vietnam. I guess not Vietnam.
Holy shit, there are people here.
Is this thing working?
They love us. They really love us.
Check
Morning, Gerardo Aguilar.
Got nothing.
Nomad Wanderer, good morning. What do you got, nothing? What do you mean?
Got nothing.
These people can't keep their hands off the shit, man.
Hit me.
With what?
That's
I got a little feedback.
Yeah, we got some buzz, yeah. Is it those headphones?
Do you know I get it?
I unplugged it. You still have it?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't have it over here.
I was just rewatching a little bit of the show. I literally have no life. Heard that, Daniel.
Hey, is it still there?
A little, yeah. I can still hear it.
Just tell me if it changed
shit.
at all. Anything?
Nope, still got it.
How about now?
That cut my shit out.
Yeah, but is there a buzz? There's still a buzz?
Yeah.
It's good. Makes it a little easier to figure out. Still a buzz.
Nope, nothing now.
You hear yourself?
Nope. I can hear myself and no buzz. What the hell happened?
I don't know. Check 1 2. Sounds good.
So I was trying to figure out where we stopped on our show last time.
Yeah, right after food tech.
And
Pretty
I
sure,
heard
or
these.
maybe it was medicine.
I heard Everett and Armand.
No, it was medicine, wasn't it? No, we talked about replicators.
Yeah,
Yeah, we did.
I heard Everett and Armand peddling this. Aren't you always buzzed? No, not always. Maybe.
Yeah.
So I heard Everett and Armand on the show I was watching peddling this bullshit about you don't have to eat.
I didn't ever say that.
You guys both like, no, you could just take supplements. But no,
No, you still gotta have calories.
You gotta eat, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
you can live for a good long while and just like eating what's in your body, like your body will eat itself. But and you'll be somewhat healthy.
Did you ever see that? Did you ever see that Joe Rogan episode where there was a guy on there and he told Joe Rogan, he was like, you only pee and poop because you eat and drink in excess of what your body can. And this guy's like a nutrition specialist, and Joe Rogan's like, that's not right at all. He's like, there's no fucking fine line you can walk to where you eat a perfect amount of food and drink a perfect amount of liquid to where you don't pee or poop.
And not every food is completely digestible. You know what I mean? 100% usable.
He's like, I'm not even a nutritionist. Are you seriously telling people that? He was like going off on that fucking guy. Like, you can't tell people that you don't even need to pee or poop. You can just eat and drink just enough to not pee or poop. Like, goddamn, man, some people's kids,
A ding dang do.
But so the reason we're on early is we have a Fortnite event that we are doing. We got to set up for tomorrow, and we're actually gonna execute on Friday.
Yeah, I wonder what time we're doing that tomorrow. Because maybe if we can get in, maybe we could still do the other show for next week.
Maybe.
Or maybe we get in early Monday. I don't know. I want to try to not miss any more shows like we've been doing.
Agreed.
But we'll give a couple more minutes and we'll start the show. I know there's not going to be super amount of you guys here at 9:40 a.m. Central Time on what is today? Wednesday.
Aren't you always buzzed? Do I always look buzzed?
Yeah.
Really?
No.
Because if I do, there's nothing I can do about that because I'm not always buzzed. But, like, if I always look buzzed.
Whatever you say, Jim Brewer.
Right, man. Jim Brewer does always look fucked up, doesn't he?
People still remember Jim Brewer?
Rory, what's his name that played fucking Slater's son? He did that. That was, like, the best.
Rory, oh, shit. He was in all kind of movies.
Yeah,
Empire Records.
Empire Records.
That's
He was
about it,
really good.
actually.
He got the shit beat out of him in Empire Records.
That's about the only thing he was in. He was in 24 for a couple episodes.
Was he? Cochran, maybe is his last
Rory
name?
Cochran,
Is this
that's right.
Cochran? Is that what it is?
Dominic says you always look stoned. Stoned. That's such a harsh term. It's hard to even get stoned. You know what I mean?
Like stoned. Yeah, I can't. It's hard.
I'm not going to go
I
into
got
the
kids.
4 levels of getting high.
You can't. Okay, so like you can't sit down and smoke like 8 bongs in a row with kids. It just don't fucking work. Like even if you are that type of parent which doesn't give a fuck, which I'm not, you can't because it's like they gotta have something, this or the other, or you know, like you stink the whole fucking house up, or you know, like your lighter runs out. That you just can't do it. You can't. I mean,
yeah, it's pretty shitty.
Yeah, I remember getting fucking.
We'll take this to 10 minutes, 3 minutes, and 15 more seconds. We'll start the show. Sound good?
I don't give it. Yeah.
No Armand today. I think he said the other day he's going to be.
Armand's in L.A. right now. I think
he's in law. We should call him and see what he's doing live on the air.
Oh, we should prank him.
We should get him another time someday. Oh.
I'll call him and be like, I saw your match on Tinder. Where you put your phone number at? How are you doing? I can't even do like I smoke cigarettes, so my voice is so I can't even do a woman.
We should get one of our female listeners to help us.
I can't even. Hey Armand. Yeah. I can't even do a chick voice.
Got a question. Where do you watch? http://youtube.com/Surreal Talk Show? Is that what it is? Shit, I never can remember.
Yeah.
Surreal Talk Podcast.
You got the fucking chat up over the over the thing, so I can't see it. I'll just give him the link. Was it in the thing? Was it in the Facebook post?
Yeah, I already did it.
Oh, you sent him. I was just giving the direct link to the show.
I mean, you can do that if you want. I really need to make a new 2-man overlay. Not that it's not often that we do it without Armand, but
what's wrong with this one?
It covers up the YouTube thing and part of the Surreal Talk logo. Just kind of move everything over to the left. You know what I mean? Up there and make an actual spot for the chat.
I do.
Hey, well, one of these days.
One of these days, you're gonna love me.
KFC for lunch today.
I'm with it.
Is the current running thought. Dong.
I'm with it. I care not.
What are we up to here?
Homer Cleese care not for beans, but for Marjorie.
That's right. Everybody knows that. Old Homer Cleese.
You know, I heard some real fucked up shit about butter.
What about?
Like, let me get this out of the way. Here. So, like, I hear butter ain't even really good for you. Maybe it's margarine. Maybe I was stoned when I watched this video, but so like one of them was like made till man, I'm gonna fuck it up.
Here, shut that TV off behind you because you look like fucking horrible.
That was a terrible throw.
Yeah, I hit the napkins.
Maybe I didn't take away as much as I thought I did from
That's better.
from the butter video, but like they made a bunch of it to feed cows or something, and it wasn't. So they just started feeding it to humans. Like fuck it. Maybe it was margarine. I don't know. I can't remember. But there was.
What's the problem with it? So I heard something about butter. I don't know. It was vaguely
it's margarine.
negative.
See, look. She knows, right. You get a minute, Danielle, and like you ain't doing nothing. Now you already said you don't have no life. Can you post a link in the group about that? Because like I can't fucking remember. Fake butter was used to fatten chickens up, but they started to die. Yeah, butter's fucked up, man. But without it, you can't have grilled cheese.
Fucked up, not butter.
Yeah, that's right. Margarine's fucked up. See,
Why can't you have cheese without butter?
You can't have grilled cheese without butter.
Why can't you? You could use olive oil.
Oh, that'd be
not bad.
fucked.
No, it's not bad.
Really?
Yeah, it's not bad.
Oh, fuck that, man. Do you just spread it on the bread?
No, you put it down on the pan. Like, have you ever made a grilled cheese by not putting the butter on the bread? And
No.
Just take
I'll stop you right there and say no.
Take a big dollop of butter, throw it in your pan, spread it around to where it's like, and then throw your bread on there and start it going.
You're a goddamn savage if you do things like that.
So whenever we were down in Jamaica, they had this little hut on the beach. They were making cheeseburgers or grilled cheese, and that's what this guy did. He has a big ass griddle. He would just take a big old dollop of butter, throw it down on there, spread it out real good, and just start throwing bread down. Made some killer grilled cheeses, and I started doing it, and it's a lot easier. You don't have to spread shit.
I bought grilled cheeses from a hippie at Swag Stop.
Well, yeah, I mean, on like Shakedown Street, sure.
I don't know how she made them. probably used margarine.
Probably whatever was cheap.
Here we go. All right, fuck it. We ready to go? Fake butter?
Oh, shit, yeah. Sorry, we're a minute past.
Yeah.
All right,
let's do this. Dude, fry a peanut butter sandwich with butter. Whoa. No shit.
Hey, we ain't got no voicemails today, just saying.
Yeah, let's do it.
Pretty loud.
You're listening to Surreal Talk, a look inside the world of cults, conspiracies, and the paranormal.
Something's not right, man. Something's not right. Something's bullshit here, and I don't believe it.
Honestly, this crazy shit could be completely possible.
Disclaimer, we reserve the right to be wrong, ladies and gentlemen. You think you know the whole story? Think again.
Now your hosts, Eric and Everett.
Welcome to Surreal Talk, a look inside the world of cults, conspiracies, and the paranormal, and Butter, a lineupmedia.fm production. Now, if you missed the pre-show here, podcasters, I don't know, I was on a butter kick. Anyway, how you doing today?
What's up, man? It was a margarine kick, I guess, kind of.
Yeah, that's it.
Anyway, Eric got into talking about how he had saw something somewhere about something about butter or margarine that it may or may not be bad for you, and there's something about it. He couldn't quite recall.
No.
Turned out to be margarine. Thanks, Danielle, in the YouTube chat. I don't think I ever really got. Oh, it was fake butter. Was apparently fed to chickens to fatten them, but then they started to die, and that's kind of where I lost track of this whole story.
Well, and they were like, we got to use it for something. So
you use butter or margarine at home? We're a real butter household. You don't know? You guys use butter? You don't make anything with butter? Mac and cheese?
Yeah, of course, but I don't know what the fuck it is. I never
Does it
looked.
come in a tub?
Well, we got stick butter too.
But is it real butter? Or? Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Right. I have no idea.
Fuck a bunch of butter, man.
Fucking butter.
Anyway, today we're doing a second part, maybe the last part or the 2 of 3. I don't know yet. We'll see how it goes of Sci Fi Tech. On the last show, we got all the way through food tech. We talked a lot about, what do we got here? Entertainment tech, from sex robots and sex pills, and apparently a lot of stuff about sex.
Holographic displays.
Oh, the holo suites and holodecks was really cool.
Yeah.
We talked a bit about medicine and health tech. But we're past all that. Now we're doing some cooler stuff, as Eric would say.
Yes.
The war tech, defense, weapons, things like that. Uh-oh, getting a text message, but it doesn't matter. So the first thing on the list, Eric, is your idea.
Wakanda.
So
Wakanda had some badass tech.
Superficially, what did you find that they had really cool? I guess they had force shields or force fields.
Yeah,
that's a defense tech, but
that vibranium, they would like sew it into their clothes and shit. Like all everything they did there was pretty cool. You know what I mean? The force
how much you know
field,
about vibranium?
I mean, I know that ain't real.
Well, I mean, in universe, what do you know about it?
It's a.
Could you consider it sci-fi tech, just the metal itself?
Yeah, it's sci-fi for sure. Yeah. Why? Why wouldn't you?
I don't know. I just wish I knew a little bit more about the properties of vibranium. Like, why do they sew it into their clothes?
Because it's like bulletproof now. Your clothes are bulletproof now.
So all you got to do is make.
It's got healing properties. There's all kinds of shit that like. So that vibranium drives the tech that like. You saw Black Panther. They healed that guy that couldn't walk. You know, they put the little vibranium pod in him to stabilize him. Like, there's something about that shit that's crazy good. Maybe I need to rewatch that movie better.
So it's magic metal?
Magic metal, pretty much, yeah.
See, I hate that. I mean, I wish there was a little bit more information, at least easily available in the part we have consumed, which is the movies.
Right.
I don't want to have to go 18, episodes deep into comic books to find out exactly why vibranium
does what it does, right.
I guess it's pretty cool. You can put that right up there with other metals like unobtainium, which has been used in all kinds of movies. And my favorite usage of it was in the core.
Yeah.
So in the core, they built a whole goddamn ship out of this metal called unobtainium, which the more pressure and heat you give it, the stronger it gets somehow. And as a side effect, it generates electricity, which was interesting.
It generates heat. It turns heat to electricity.
And pressure, apparently.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was really cool.
Yeah, that's it. That was neat. I like that. The movie The Core was great, 100%. That fucking whole movie was good.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
What other movie did they have unobtainium in? I can't remember that they had another movie with unobtainium.
Uses of unobtainium. Man, that's a hard word to spell.
Team Eric for sure, baby. Yo.
in movies.
I know it was a core, but I can't remember anything else with unobtainium.
Hold on, I'll get here. This isn't as easy as I first thought.
The next thing on the list after this, what we're talking about here, is like my favorite shit ever.
It was used in the movie Avatar, apparently.
Avatar.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was the metal they were mining.
Yeah.
It was like $20 million a kilo for it, for that mineral.
Yeah, that's what it was. I'm pretty sure it was used in other movies and other sci-fi things. I can't really find too many other references off the top of my head.
No, but so more war tech, lightsabers.
That's a kind of not war if you think about the way they described it. It's a more refined weapon for a more civilized time or something like that. Right?
That's a fair point.
But
didn't expect that from you.
That would be, as a war tech, it's great. But think about it as an industrial tech. The way you can refine those blades into any kind of applications, from logging to jewel cutting to surgery.
Yeah, I mean, even the steel industry, big, like, there's so much you could do with the...
Just for melting metal, you mean? Or
cutting it precisely, precision cutting, you know what I mean? Like, think about it. You don't have to break out the torch, fire it up, you just fucking...
All right, well, think Phantom Menace, though. That's hardly what I would call a great way to cut metal, like way they cut.
Well, super thick metal, it just melted it like that. But I'm saying a plate.
Even a droid's head, when they cut those little droids' heads off, they still had like the melted metal around their neck.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's not really a fine cutting instrument.
It's
at least
fast.
in the lightsaber version. I guess so. In small parts. If it was so fast, though, how come it took Qui-Gon so long to stick it in that thing and turn it? And
because those were blast doors.
I don't buy it. If it's that badass, it shouldn't matter.
It broke the blast doors down.
And I'm just saying, it's not as a...
Blast doors, like from a bomb.
Okay, that's fine and all, but lightsabers are supposed to cut through anything except another lightsaber.
Didn't it?
It did, but it wasn't easy.
Well, no, nobody said it was gonna be easy. It's a fucking...
Let me ask you this: what happens if you drop a lightsaber blade down? Does it
I
go
never
to the
thought
center
about
of your
that
planet?
yet. No, it shouldn't.
Why wouldn't it?
I don't know. Does it cut dirt? Can you burn dirt?
I think you could burn dirt, but I don't know, man.
That's weird.
Does it? I guess it does work in outer space. It works underwater.
Yeah, they work under. Well, the special ones, like Plo Koon had to have. He had 2 crystals in his lightsaber, one for above and one for water.
Didn't Kit Fisto? Didn't he?
Kit Fisto was who? Not Plo Koon. Kit Fisto is who I was thinking.
Plo Koon
of.
was the mascot.
Yeah.
Ha! I beat you on Star Wars.
I wouldn't say that. Death Star.
Yeah, that's kind
what
of the
about that?
in space stations.
War tech. Can blow a planet up.
So they kind of shit on that too in the recent Star Wars movies, like Rebels, where they explained it.
That's
the
not
tech,
a movie.
Well, not Rebels. What was the one? Rogue One, where they explained that the Death Star was basically just a giant lightsaber blaster.
That's horse shit.
Yeah, it was so bad they had to ruin it
because it was kyber crystal. It was powered by kyber crystal.
Can you imagine what it would take to power one burst of energy that can blow up a planet in one shot?
I mean, unimaginable amounts of energy.
That's more to me unlikely than the building of a space station of that size.
Yeah, right. Like I could believe.
Think of the capacitors you got to have to hold that up and let it go in one rip. You know what I mean? Here you go, whoop through whatever kind of reflectors or I don't know, however you're making that beam. And how do you not burning out everything you do whenever as soon as you shoot it that first time? Like that kind of power would just be, I can't even imagine.
What's it coming out of? That shit's fucked.
I'll find some Death Star facts here real quick.
Some Death Star facts?
Yeah. Let's see.
Death Star killed Alderaan. Killed the Hosnian system, all 4 planets. Actually, that was the Star Killer base, but it's a fucking Death Star regardless.
The DS-1 Orbital Battle Station. You ever heard it called that?
No, but that's the short name, I assume, for it?
The original name. Let's see here. I'm trying to find out how many people it had on it. Okay, here we go. It had 342,000 fucking Imperial Navy and Army people. And
hell yeah.
25,984 stormtroopers. The ability to have 1.2 million-ish total personnel, depending on the mission. 1.2 million.
Damn.
It had a Mark I super laser, a tractor beam, a turbo laser, 15,000 turbo laser batteries. Jesus.
That's like surface.
Yeah, just turrets.
Surface turrets, right? Yeah.
Let's see. It had 2,500 Super Blaster 920 laser cannons, whatever that means. 2,500 ion cannons. It had a complement of 7,200 TIE fighters. 7,200. Can you imagine just 7,200 planes on one battle cruiser?
That's like everything America owns. As far as like fighter jets.
It could hold 750,000 passengers for whatever reason. It had a cargo capacity of over 1 million kilotons.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I don't even know how much a kiloton is. 100 tons, 1,000 tons, 1,000 tons, I guess, 1,000 metric tons. So that's what? Fuck ton. Roughly.
A bunch.
Yeah, roughly. It had the consumables packed away for 4 years, I guess. So if you had enough food and supplies to go out on a 4-year mission for 2 million people.
That's as good as and it can hit light speed, right? Can't it?
Had to. It was interstellar. It went between planets.
Yeah,
systems.
so I mean that's as good as fucking the Enterprise.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
You know what I mean? All right, so shielding, Vortex shielding. Say shields. Divert all power to the forward shields. You know what I mean? Like
that's energy shielding, which is pretty cool. There's different types of that though. There's energy shielding for weaponry, but then shows like Star Trek had something that they called like the deflector shield. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Nah, the deflector shield's not for deflecting like blaster bolts and shit like that.
Oh, that would be for like space debris?
Like space debris. So when you're traveling at warp, or not really warp, impulse, which is like sublight speed but still really fast, there's still lots of little sand particles or whatever in space, and one of those hits your hull, it's going to fuck you up going, 100,000 miles a second or something like that, half the speed of light.
Right.
So they created a type of shield, basically just like a plow to move that shit out of the way as you're going.
That's pretty cool.
Think about that in applications for planes. Think you could use that to possibly get rid of your drag with the wind.
Yeah, you wouldn't have to worry about birds hitting you or anything like that.
Oh, even better. Put that right in front of your jet engines.
Your cockpit. Oh yeah, the engines. It would fuck the engines up. A bird flies in
windows.
there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, shielding is one of the coolest things. Think about as personal shielding. What shows have we seen with personal shielding like that? I know we've seen some.
Hell, in Black Panther, they use their fucking things to make a wall. You know what I mean? With their shields. I mean like a shielding that goes around your body. Didn't Star-Lord have something like that? He did. They had their extra vehicular suits were something like force fields, weren't they? No.
Are you sure they didn't have? Like,
Star-Lord had that thing that went attached around the back of his neck, and he could touch it, and it made that fucking mask over his face.
There was something else which was pretty cool, Sci-Fi Tech too.
Yeah, that was very neat.
But
it
there
allowed
was some
him to
other
float
show
in space.
that allowed. It was just basically a skin tight force field that kept pressure.
That was it was, but it was Guardians 2. Yeah, Drax had that. Remember? There was he was standing on top of the ship, and it was Drax that had that. Yeah. Because remember, Rocket was gonna blow him up. He's like, "No, Rocket, we're fine." Drax was gonna like fucking. Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. These Marvel movies have took a big shit in the last couple
they've
2
gotten
years.
Better.
I think they've gotten worse. I mean, they're just
Iron Man 3 blew dick off.
Yeah, I agree. I just think they're so forgettable. There's so many of them now. Unless it's an Avengers movie, it's just
really.
It has
Captain
to be
America: Civil War.
It was more or less an Avengers movie without Thor and Hulk. That's all it was missing.
Thor 3.
It was okay, I guess. I don't know. It was way against the tone of the others. We're not in a comic book movie discussion. This is my fault. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you did this.
Artificial gravity. That'd be kind of cool. That's one thing we don't have at all at this point in time. So gravity right now, as you know, is a force between any two objects with mass in the universe. They create an attraction. The force of this attraction is depending on their mass and their distance apart from each other. We have no way to fix that. Say in space, you want to go out and not float around in the space station. You want to walk around. Well, the only way we know to do it currently is to use like centrifugal force and spin that station. Not that we've ever did this, as far as I know, but spin that station in such a way that you're basically flung to the outside, like inside of the carnival ride, where you stand up against the wall and get held to the side.
But spinning it just enough to where it feels like 1G,
right?
Which is what we're used to here on Earth. So gravity wells, like some ships have them in sci-fi.
So Romulans in Star Trek, they used artificial black holes, gravity wells, as their warp drive, basically as the fuel for their warp drive.
Really?
Yeah.
Some ships, I believe it's in Star Wars, have them for like when you're at light speed, so you don't fly too close to something. Like it creates a big, huge gravity
well.
Yeah, so it kind of pushes
sense.
you away from large objects. You don't fly through them.
Which Star Wars was that?
It actually didn't explain any of it. No, it was I seen it on a video, and it was like basically breaking down what the Snoke Star Destroyer was, the Supreme whatever it was. You know the Star Destroyer that Snoke had, the big Supremacy. And it explained like all the exterior parts of it, and there was two big, huge things on there, and the guy explained them as gravity wells, so that when it's going that fast, it doesn't fly through, or next to that close to any huge objects.
I wonder if they put out a new technical manual for Star Wars. I remember whenever I was younger, in my late teens, I had an actual technical manual for Star Trek. It was cool. It would go through. It had layouts for all the ships and everything like that. It could tell you all the info about them.
Really?
From the Executor to the Death Star. Executor was.
What was the Executor?
That was Vader's flagship. His biggest.
Oh, that's right.
to the Millennium Falcon to the fucking little speeders. It was pretty cool.
I thought you said Star Trek at first, so I just quit listening.
I don't know why you give Star Trek such a hard time. It's way better for sci-fi, in my opinion. It's more realistic.
I'm not saying it's not good. It's good shit. I just prefer How
can you prefer something whenever you never tried the other?
I've seen Star Trek a fucking 100 times. Next Generation,
it, but you've never watched it. You know what I'm saying? You've seen it, but you haven't watched it.
I've seen it 100 times. I prefer the story of Star Trek because there's more of like
Star Trek, exactly.
I mean, Star Wars, because there's more like a heroic vibe. Like there's stuff at stake. You know what I mean? It's like a big, there's small parts of it, like the love story off on the side, and there's like the internal conflict. I just prefer the story of Star Wars.
Like every single movie or story out there that's worth its salt has all of those parts.
Yeah, unlike Star Trek.
That's bait, and I'm not taking it.
I wouldn't either if I were you.
All right, moving on then. Clone troopers.
Yeah, so cloning people, and that we talked about that in a different part of the tech. But if you use it for war,
I still wonder why they bothered with clone troopers.
Because you got 200,000 units with 1 million more on the way.
Yeah, but why not order 50 million droids like the other guys did?
Did the other guys win?
No, but they didn't have
the
Jedi.
Fucking clone troopers won.
And it didn't even come down to clone troopers, and it didn't come down to droids either. It came down to fucking Palpatine and his shit with the Jedi. Whenever he wiped out the Jedi, that was the end
Order
of the war
66.
anyway. The whole thing was a fake
fucking
war.
Who did that?
Yeah.
Who carried out Order 66? The clone troopers.
But that wasn't even carried out until after they found out who he was. Order 66 didn't matter until his fucking facade was dropped on accident. He told Anakin. Anakin blew it to the Jedi. The Jedi blew it. And then all the shit with the clone troopers, went down for him to finish off the Jedi.
It
didn't matter for the war because the war was fake. Palpatine was playing both sides of that war. He could have stopped it at any time.
He started the whole war.
That's what I'm saying. He could have started or stopped it at any time.
Right, but that doesn't mean that clone troopers weren't a good war tech. That was okay. Nice to have.
But
they
my
were
point
better.
Is why?
Because they think on the fly. They were better than fucking droids. Droids just follow your
much more
your protocol.
Exactly. Why bother sending? Why send in flesh whenever you could send in?
Yeah, but these clones were like aged
so they're
fast.
Basically flesh robots to you. Is what
no, man. You didn't.
They're not
the
lives.
Clone Wars was such a great series because. So, they each had their individual, they had personalities and shit. They were all from
But they're still expendable. Can they quit at any time? Can they just quit being in?
No. They're a slave, essentially.
So, yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, they're a slave. That sucks. But, man, it was really, there's a compelling part of the story. And I like parts of it like where, the brotherhood and camaraderie between these clones realizing that we're nothing but expendables.
Which was all programmed into them.
But we can make it, exactly, but we can make, it was programmed into them. Everything about them was programmed into.
So let me go back. Why have flesh droids versus metal droids? So you're saying that the flesh droids can think a little bit better and have a little better instinct?
Yeah, well, they can.
Droidicas. Let's go Star Wars with you there. They got millions of better droids than Roger, okay? They're not all C-3PO.
But
why
that
not
was
build good war droids instead of the shitty war droids? And instead of wasting flesh, which you have to upkeep, which doesn't heal easily, you can't just throw away. There's fucking moral implications of sending out meat puppets to die. Not to mention, like you said, they're slaves built for one purpose.
What point are you arguing?
Subjugated. I'm just saying, why bother with clones? It's a weird tech for war.
But it's a tech for war nonetheless.
It is, but I'm just saying. I'm saying droids are better. If you're
God, that is terrible. No, they're not better.
Yeah, okay, say you're running a war right now. You have a whole half of the galaxy you're trying to fight with. You'd rather have clones than 50 fucking or 100 planets cranking out droids nonstop. You don't have to grow. You don't have to worry about it if they're going to turn on you or because that happened.
That only happened because of the.
So you'd rather have a subjugated force than droids.
Yeah. So what is a droid? Droids are subjugated force as well.
Yeah, they don't have sentience though.
Exactly why you don't want them. You don't want because they can't make those.
What do you do with your droids when the war's
decisions.
over? Or what do you do with your clones when the war's over?
You let them live out the rest of their short life.
Man, what a shitty thing to do to create a person who is built to live in a short, 10-year period.
What is my purpose? You pass butter.
What is my purpose? You fight wars.
Yeah.
You kill people and then you die.
Yeah.
What a horrible thing to make. I wouldn't want that. It's good tech, I guess. I'd rather use cloning for lots of other stuff. Let's talk cloning.
So is it the moral implications that you think that droids are better because you wouldn't want to just create a human?
It's not just the moral. I think it's harder. Think about it with the pods you got to do to create a human. You got to have a whole biopod to grow a baby.
Well, we're assuming that doesn't matter. Camino had it done. Camino, they were fucking.
I would say
it's
easier to create droids in far greater numbers.
Probably.
than it would be. I'd just say it's more convenient, easier, cheaper to make droids, and just as good. Especially when you think about it, that if they're not as good one-on-one, you can easily throw more of them at it. If it takes 5 droids to beat one clone, send 20 droids.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Just my thought. What else we got on the list here? The Neuralizer for Men in Black. That's pretty cool. And that's the one where they say, look here at the light, blip, your memory's gone. What are you reading here?
I was reading some of the chat.
What's going on in the chat?
Nothing. Go ahead. Where were we at? Neutralizer, Men in Black. Yeah.
Neuralizer.
Yeah. So the little red flashy thingy.
Right.
That would be. There's some moral implications there. Are you allowed to do that to people? You know what I mean?
You have the right, because that thing had weeks, months, years, or whatever. You could flash somebody back to childhood if you wanted to.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a great one to have, but as a spy agency or a secret agency like the Men in Black, you kind of got to have it. What else do you think that technology allows to where? Well, let's think about how it could work.
Complete memory wipe.
Let's think about how that would work. Is it a strobe? Some sort of flashing of lights, like a
causes
a
like an epileptic seizure in your head or something.
Right. So you got to the point, the alien technology, which I'm sure where that comes from. The Men in Black themselves didn't invent it.
Right.
To where they can access functions of the brain and memory by light. So if you can take away memories that way, why couldn't you use that same technology to implant memories or at least feelings? You know what I mean? Baser instincts you could probably do.
Yeah.
I mean, if you got to the point where you can access the level of the brain to be fine enough to take hours or days or weeks away from them, you got to be able to at least implant emotions, starting with emotions or something.
Yeah, I mean, I guess theoretically you should, but implanting's a little bit harder than just erasing. I assume that erasing is just.
If we even knew exactly how memories are stored, really, that would help. But
yeah, right. That's fair.
I don't know.
Morty's Mind Blowers, Rusty Shacklebolt says. We mentioned that, though, didn't we? Last time?
Could you use that for war, though?
That wasn't war tech. It was something else.
Though, if you think about it, though, putting memories in jars like that, so to speak, is kind of like the whole Kung Fu and the Matrix. I know Kung Fu. If you can store a memory thing like that and implant it in somebody's head to where they relive it.
Upload it.
Yeah. Why don't we talk about that for a military tech? The ability to train your soldiers in a matter of minutes.
That would be badass, wouldn't it?
So say you can't make clones that are perfectly programmed from birth. Why not take every man and set him in total recall for a second and give him Kung Fu, how to fly a plane, how to shoot a gun, hand-to-hand combat?
Yeah, that would make things way easier to, like, train troops. You know what I mean? Have better troops like that way, too.
Let's take it backwards. Why not use it for school? Do you think something would be lost in the process, so to speak, of education if you could just have education flashed into you?
Our education's fucked now anyways, so like it doesn't.
How do you figure?
Because it teaches you to go through fucking school and take tests. It doesn't nurture your natural abilities of what you're good at.
I disagree.
It makes you just. It doesn't set you apart from anyone else. You know what I mean? Like I don't feel like our education's worth a damn.
What do you mean it doesn't set you apart? You can go to public. So your problem is with public school?
Yeah, I guess.
You can go to a Montessori school, and that's more or less one-on-one. That just costs money.
Right.
So your problem is we're not spending enough money on public education to where a child should be able to get one-on-one attention at all times?
No, that's not what I'm saying either. That's not what I'm saying either. I'm saying that it's not. So, like, there's 25 kids in a classroom with one teacher.
Sure.
They're all being taught the same thing.
Right.
You're basically just producing 25 kids that can go out into the workforce. You're not producing, just huge thinkers. You're not producing people that question the status quo. You're not producing.
Yeah, you are. Where do they come from now? They come from exactly the same place. Maybe
do you think Elon Musk or any of the huge inventors or anything like that, and I'm not even, that was a bad example of Elon Musk, but do you think any of those people probably went to public school? Probably not. Do you think Donald Trump went to public school with all his money? No.
No, but he's not. He's dumb as a fucking rock. What's that matter?
That's not the point. The point is people in positions of power or even like positions of that invent a bunch of shit. That I don't feel like that they're getting.
See, this is bullshit.
From public school.
This is the type of thing, and excuse me here, poor people say to make themselves feel better that they don't have the same shot as everybody else.
Really?
You have the shot. If you go into school with the mindset you're going to take advantage of it as a child and not fuck off.
What child has that mindset that I'm going to go in here in school at 4 years old and take fucking advantage of this school?
I knew whenever I was in school, I wasn't there to fuck around. I went in and I paid attention. I learned what I needed to learn. What I'm saying is, if a person from even when they're a child, you can tell if they're going to be a fuck up or be good at things. You're going to have one person out of your classroom that might be an Elon Musk or a high-level thinker or something like that. Just because everybody doesn't learn at the same level doesn't mean it's bad the way that it's done that.
Right, so exactly. That's my point. So the kids that aren't learning at that level, they've got other talents that aren't nurtured. Now they're going out and what they're doing is they're picking up fucking garbage whenever they really could be, doing something that.
So what system do you think would be better than?
I don't have a proposal, but I'm just saying.
So you're just bitching.
I'm just bitching. Yeah, I feel like our education system could use an overhaul.
Why? Just because a person can't find out on their own what they should be doing? I think that's horse shit. That's like, again, blaming somebody else for somebody else's lot in life. I didn't figure it out on my own.
So the education system's perfect. It's good the way it is?
No.
Okay.
I think more people should take responsibility for their own lot in life. If you're going to sit around and say public education fucked me over because they didn't tell me what I should or could be doing.
I never said that.
No, that's exactly what you're saying. You're saying the education system's broken because there's some people out there collecting garbage whenever the education system should have told them that maybe they could have been a fucking TV anchor
Boy,
instead.
You're really dumbing that down. I'm saying that they could use to be a little more personal and figure out what you're good at. And
that's a guidance counselor, and they do decent at that.
Yeah. Okay. Agree to disagree.
No, we'll not agree to disagree. I'm not going to let it go because there's people like you. I think you're thinking the same way because somebody didn't hold your hand and tell you that you could have been a doctor.
Not at all.
Well,
not at all.
I say school system is as much as you put into it, you can get out of it.
No, I don't agree with that either.
Yeah, well, then go ahead and whine and call your problems everybody else's fault then. Because that's where this is coming from.
Who said I had fucking problems?
I'm saying problems.
Okay, all I'm saying is I recognize that our educational system is not what it fucking could be. It could be a lot better. But we're not churning out thinkers. We're churning out a workforce. That's what the fuck we need here in America.
Where are you getting
workforce. Am I wrong?
Yeah, you're wrong.
No, I'm not.
Where do you think all the people we have right now come from? Like everybody in this building right now, how many of the people who work here didn't go to public school? I'm saying 99% of them here went to public school.
Where, here?
And they're not just workforce. There's creative people here. There's all kinds of people here. What you look at, like where you come from, you worked in a welding shop, you know what I mean? I'm sorry, most of those people are perfect in what they're doing. They're not going to go out and be fucking thinkers. I mean, they're doing the type of thinking that they learned.
Fabrication requires a lot of thinking.
I'm not
and
saying
a lot
it doesn't.
of.
They're doing the type of thinking that they're good at. You know what I mean? That's what they gravitated towards in high school, vocational. That's probably where they should be.
Right. So there's a structure in school. You know, you go through, you do your classes. You only get to do your vocational shit in high school, but it's like all a structure. Like every kid is the exact same according to the school system. Yeah, I mean,
what about gifted programs or special education? The people who are at the top of the people who are at the top of them are generally recognized. You know, top of the intelligence standards. That's why you have stuff like your IO basics test of skills, where you can kind of see that you're standout students. And then you have the ones who need a little extra special help, and they go get in the smaller size classrooms to get that help. I cannot think of a better system for the masses. We don't have the money.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's designed for the masses. It's just a run of the mill regular.
And if you want that extra touch, where you want the one-on-one, you have to pay for it. That's called capitalism.
Yeah, I know. I never even said that, though. I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying there's something fundamentally wrong with treating every kid exactly the same.
I don't know how you could treat them not exactly the same.
Let's move on.
No. All right, fine. Let's move on.
So the sonic stun from Iron Man 1. You know what I'm talking about when I say that?
Yeah. I thought it was from Hulk, though, wasn't it?
No.
It's the same type of weapon, though, wasn't it? You know what I'm talking about?
No, from Hulk. Oh, no, hey, that's awesome, too. I didn't even think about that, where they got him on the back of them fucking Humvees, and it's like...
Yeah, just big, sound waves, basically. Yeah.
Man, how that could be used. See, they already do that. Like, for riots, they have, like, trucks that fucking...
Same thing with the sonic stun. It's kind of already existing tech. It's
well,
just,
the way they used it in
waves.
Iron Man 1, it was... that Jebediah or Obadiah, he had that thing and he put it right by Tony's ear and it like fucking paralyzed him. It was like he was paralyzed from it. You know what I mean? He couldn't fucking move. But Obadiah had those things in his ear where it didn't affect him. I think that would be, pretty good tech.
I need more info on this.
You don't know what I'm talking about, really?
No, I mean, can you give me a little bit more about how it might work?
Fuck. Tony Stark invented it.
Oh, God damn it, dude.
No, that's exactly what he says. It's a sonic paralyzer. It's a stun gun. It's like a sonic stun. So it just paralyzes you once you hear it. But it's at such a high tune that it's not like loud to your ear.
High tune?
Yeah, it's like
high frequency.
The frequency is so high. It's not like loud as in decibels to your ears. So it's like, but it fucking. It fucks you all up, man.
Oh my God.
You don't know what I'm talking about. You never seen that.
I think I totally get it. I just am laughing at your understanding of it. It's just funny. Your explanation, it makes you go, "Ooh," and it's
I said paralyzation. What do you want me to say?
You're just funny. cracking me up.
All right. What do you got next?
I got nothing.
Cloaking tech, ship or personal.
Cloaking tech, that'd be cool.
So we've all seen those fake videos about how the artificial cloaking already exists.
Have you seen those where the guy you see somebody running
they're
across
pretty
the field?
compelling, man. But I don't know. I want to believe I do, but
I've seen plenty of videos where they show like the guy holding the sheet,
the blanket.
And I
yeah,
can kind of buy that. You know what I mean? Like made of materials or camera behind and projection ability. But to make a whole suit of it out and make it mobile with no power or a small power source, that's hard to believe.
It'd have to be like the power source. You'd have to.
That's the biggest thing from almost any tech is power.
Mm-hmm.
We create all of our power either by nuclear means or some sort of spin a turbine. Basically, is how we create our power at this point, or solar means, or something along that lines. And we store it usually in chemical batteries. Are you on the chat again?
Yeah.
Close your shit. Stay out of the chat. We're trying
I'm
to have
hearing
a
what you're
conversation.
saying.
Then what did I just say?
Something about chemicals.
You make this so hard. Cloaking tech on ships.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
what was it? Worf's race.
Klingons. What
They
about
had good cloaking, didn't they? From what
Yeah,
I
they had
understand of
cloaking.
Star Trek.
Sure did. Yeah, so did the Romulans.
Yeah, but better than Worf's race.
Romulans created it actually.
They created the
Klingons got it from the Romulans.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a deal. It was a whole deal.
It was a whole deal.
It was a whole deal.
They worked for that.
Yep, sure did.
So nanotech. G.I. Joe?
Yeah, that was a horrible movie, but I guess a good implementation of nanotech.
Like they had those nano bombs that would like eat all the material that.
Okay,
it came in
now that was
contact
silly.
with.
Somehow you take a canister of material and it turns into a mile big cloud. That could still has the destructive power that it had whenever it was the size of a meter wide.
Right.
Now it's a kilometer wide and it still has the same destructive power.
Well,
Does it automatically create new versions of itself?
It was weird because it showed them eating like the nanos were eating stuff. Like okay, so they
I
eat
don't
the
buy
metal.
that. They
Where
could
does
be
it go?
Tiny. They could be tiny little robots and just flake a piece of it off and hits the ground. I don't know. Nanotech's weird. I like to think of it more like the Borg nanoprobes from Star Trek, where they're basically just tiny little fucking robots that get into your stream and do singular functions. And that's probably where to go with us too. Ones that do just singular functions, don't have any kind of internal power source. More or less, they have a small little coil that you can kind of direct energy at, and it picks it up and turns it into some sort of usable thing.
Well, think about it for like medical purposes. Like even
Cancer
in the G.I. Joe movie, also the guy got bit by a snake, and the nanos pushed the venom back out of his body. I'm just saying, like,
okay, but also in that silly fucking movie, the guy used it to change the way his face looked, which I guess. If the technology was there, yeah, I guess it could work that way. I mean, what the fuck? I mean, if you have a little bitty robot that can rebuild stuff at such a small level, anything's possible. Boy, that was silly.
Boy, yeah, nanotech's neat though. Like, cause Tony Stark's new suit in the Avengers movie is nano, so it just like fucking comes from nowhere all over him. So that's pretty neat.
I guess that's pretty cool. Imagine having completely nano particled like clothing to where it changes based on what you need. Now I'm wearing shorts. I'm wearing long pants. It's raining. I'm automatically dry. You never get dirty. Think about that. If it's all made out of a smart material like nano, it could just repel the dirt. Like this dirt's been sitting here. Oh, flick. That's gone. You would never even need to change clothes.
There'd be a lot of possibilities with nanotech.
Think about that, dude. If you're wearing it, it could clean your body while you're wearing it. Skip off a couple of those little nanos, get even all the way down to your dead skin cells. It's got an active dead skin cell removal, something like that. So you've always got
I didn't even think about
beautiful
that.
shiny skin. It could get in there and keep your teeth clean. That'd be the kind of the coolest thing. Just have an upkeep fleet inside your body that just roams around, kind of like how your white blood cells or T cells do for like your immunosystem, but just for mechanicals. Your knees hurt. Well, we're going to send the nanos down there today and rebuild your knee.
Yeah, you're like your cartilage and shit. Whatever.
I bet it eventually gets to that point where you have that, but it's going to be like a software as a service. Like right now, like you remember back in the day where you'd buy a piece of software or a game and you pay $50, $60 for the game or $100 for the software and you owned it.
Yeah,
that's it. That was back when shit was on a cartridge though, and there wasn't the ability to have updates and where you can sell a game now or a software as a service. So Microsoft Office, for instance, now you buy as Office 365. You subscribe to it. You pay your X dollars a month, and you get a renewable license that's installed on your software that keeps you allowing to use it. And I imagine nanotech is going to be the same way. You've got the nanos in your body, but it's a service. You've got to pay to activate.
So I was thinking, imagine how much everyone freaks out about these RFID chips, and me included, that don't want to get that. But can you imagine what it'd be like if it's like, okay, look, you pay a one-time fee of $2,000 and a monthly upkeep of $50. You've got 2 million nanos in you. And at any point in time, you can call up the service and request, hey, I want to change my eye color or anything. Like,
why
or,
bother
hey,
call
man,
the request?
My chest is fucking hurting. Can you send the nanos in to figure out what's going on? And the service calculates shit
See,
up.
I think you're thinking too low on that. Why would they even have to call the service? Why wouldn't these bots keep a good enough call or look at you and see what's going on? The service should already know about it and have fixed it.
Yeah, fair. I'm just saying, like,
it should, like, oh, your heart's starting to get weak in this spot here, which could eventually do this. I'm saying, though, if we get to the point, though, where we've got small enough nanobots to do this, we know enough about medicine to where we can program them in there to keep an eye out of that.
Right.
That's the assumption I'm making here.
But yeah, I think nano would be really cool, man. There'd be a lot of neat shit that could come from that, and I don't know that it would help.
Have you ever heard of the Death of the World by Grey Goo?
No.
So it's like the Great Grey Goo or something like that. It's the theory that once we eventually create nano, that it becomes the ability to self-replicate, and it just basically eats everything in the world and turns into just a giant
nano
goo of nanos. Have taken over everything.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah, that's a concern people have, though. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
That's like the AI concern. Once they reach a certain point, are they just going to produce more of themselves to kill the humans?
Okay, Grey Goo. If you first thing you get whenever you type Grey Goo into Wikipedia or in the Google, you get the Wikipedia article, also spelled as Grey Goo, is a hypothetical end-of-the-world scenario involving molecular nanotechnology in which out-of-control, self-replicating robots consume all biomass on Earth while building more of themselves. A scenario that has been called ecophagy, eating the environment, more literally eating the habitation. The original idea assumed machines were designed to have this capability, while popularizations have assumed that machines might somehow gain this capability by accident.
Now, can you imagine us as trying to be a space-faring race? We go... there's a planet here. Let's touchdown, see what's going on,
and
man.
There's nanos already there.
And the fucking nanos have already done that scenario there, and we get there and we're like,
what's to stop
shit.
the Grey Goo from, like, basically taking over the entirety of existence in your galaxy? If it could somehow get propulsion, and time is not a problem, it just kind of goes out there and eventually just slowly spreads, kind of like the flood from Halo or some sort of other just non-thinking mass. It'd be like if algae took over the planet right now. If somehow algae gained the ability to feed off of literally any substance, that's exactly what would happen.
Or like the fungus from Mario,
Right. That's pretty scary, actually.
But the flood did kind of think.
True.
They were able to shoot guns.
Well, who's to say what would happen whenever you've got a couple, octillion, trillion little bitty things acting in concert? I don't know what a hive mind might come out of that. What kind of intelligence
Interesting
might
you use that phrase, hive mind, because the grave mind was
same
the
thing
hive.
with the Borg. They had the hive mind, which was kind of bullshit. They eventually introduced that Borg queen.
Let me ask you this with the Borg queen. If they kill the Borg queen, do the Borg regulos die?
No, there's many Borg queens. So, and again, the Borg themselves, their bodies were just bodies.
Right.
They had some autonomous function, but all thought was done in like the central processing area, the hive. The hive is the cloud, so to speak. It's everywhere at once in their infrastructure. So if you take out one of the servers on the cloud, it doesn't matter. That it's in parity, and that same server operates in 5 other servers and little parts of it. You'll never kill it all. Was the idea behind? That's kind of the way the cloud works these days. The cloud is the Borg. You heard it here first.
The cloud is Borg. Oh, okay.
It's what was
Resistance
the other one? Skynet.
Is futile. Yes, Skynet from fucking.
There's some military
Terminator.
tech. AI for military tech.
Could be bad.
Think of the Matrix. It didn't go well there. It didn't go well in the Terminator series. Are you afraid of AI? Do you think it's eventually going to be our downfall?
I don't think in my lifetime.
What do you think is more likely, the Grey Goo scenario or AI?
AI.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. And it's just because that's more, and I only think that because it's more prominent in maybe the news and everything else right now. You know what I mean? AI is really it's just talked about a lot more than like a nano scenario like that would be.
I would say it is talked about a lot more, but think about what it would take for the Grey Goo situation to happen. One guy accidentally invents it. He creates 3 or 4 of them, right? Accidentally drops one on the ground in his lab.
Yeah.
He can't see it. It eats anything and replicates. That's all it takes, and then it's over. It is literally over. Unless you nuke it, more or less, it's over.
Yeah, but
even who's to say how
could
good
you
this
nuke it to stop? I mean, would a nuke even stop it?
If you can melt it all at once, all of them all at once, where they can't like eat what kind of radiation you're giving them before they can replicate, yeah, I would think so. If they can't replicate before they're destroyed,
man,
that's your only hope.
Fucking terrible.
Destroy. That's a bad way to go.
All right, what about directed energy weapons? Blasters, phasers, things like that. Things of that sort. Plasma pistols.
Again, phasers, blasters. It's all pretty much the same. I think we're getting towards that. We have lasers now that can burn shit. That's the next step. But what's different, though, about blasters and lasers is somehow they've condensed these beams into small pulses.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, and you can see them, which is the weird part.
It is weird.
Like, you can see a green blaster bolt or a pink blaster bolt in Star Wars. It's really made a lot of sense to me. But the obvious benefits of that kind of technology is great. I don't know. Moving on. I just got a text from Brian, though. They got the studio at 11 for them, so we got to be out in like 15 minutes.
Oh, all right. Right on.
Let's keep going here. Advanced biological weapons, Black Goo, and Prometheus. Ooh, that was an interesting one. That's not really human tech, though, like we wanted to stick about, but go ahead and wrap on it.
Yeah, so the Black Goo was how they...
That's a nanotech.
Yeah, it is a nanotech. It would, like, infect an entire population and make them into the, what do they call it? What's the name for those fucking aliens?
The xenomorphs.
Xenomorphs, yeah.
Let me ask you this real quick. Sorry.
Well, actually, it didn't make the xenomorphs. It produced what was pre-xenomorph.
Precursor, right.
Yeah, pre-xenomorph. Once it combined with a human...
Do you think it makes more sense to make tech out of, or nanotech out of inorganics like metal than it does to engineer a biological nanotech such as the Black Goo? Think about biological. I mean, at that point, it's got everything built in like our cells are, that self-replicating, all that stuff is already done. Basically, you create a virus that can eat on a macro level rather than on like a micronutritional level.
Well, that's what they did. So like those engineers in that movie Prometheus would, sacrifice one of them. They'd drink a bottle of Black Goo and go fall in the water source. And it spread. That's how they would kill a planet. They could kill, and that's why they stored it off site there. That's what that one guy figured out. He was like, they weren't stupid enough to make this shit on their home planet. This is a military installation. You know what I mean? Like all these vials of this Black Goo. This planet where we're at, where we come to thought we were meeting our maker. This is a military installation, and it's only because they were only here to kill us. They were going to kill us. That's what they were doing. Except, the fucking virus got out inside
there was the two of those, right? The Alien...
Yeah, the second one. The second one was...
prequels, right? The Alien Covenant and Prometheus?
Prometheus.
Covenant was a sequel.
I thought Prometheus was better than... Yeah, but they were both prequels to the Alien movies. So, like, you got your Sigourney Weaver movie, I don't know, I think it was late 70s, early 80s or whatever, when Alien came out.
They were okay. I thought they were a little more lofty than what they were coming from. You know what I mean? Like, the Alien movies...
Lofty? I mean, I don't understand. Explain a little better.
They were given way too much importance to the lore in Alien, in my opinion. I guess that's what their whole point was, is to give some lore there. But watching the original Alien movie, seeing the engineer in that, the space jockeys they originally called it, I didn't really think too much about where did that guy come from. He's just an alien. You know what I mean? It was a little self-righteous, those movies.
Well, I mean, that's no different than like the original trilogy for Star Wars. You know what I mean? The lore was not necessary to have the prequel trilogy. I mean, the regular trilogy stood out perfect, just like Aliens. It was fine.
Yeah, well, that's what the original the prequel trilogy was for, was to world build. They didn't world build really at all in the original trilogy. Did you know the name Palpatine was never said in the original trilogy?
Never, not once.
So
never.
Did you care?
He wasn't. You didn't even see him until the end, like the end of the second one.
Yeah. Did you even care that he had no backstory? He was the Emperor.
No, that's what I said. I've explained this many times to Jerome that we are spoiled in a sense that
since the original prequel trilogy.
Yeah, we're spoiled in a sense that we require all of this out of our characters, whereas before, like with the original trilogy, when Empire hit and like it was, you didn't know. You know what I mean? You had no fucking clue at Return of the Jedi what Palpatine was capable of. When you saw that lightning come out of his fucking hands, like, what were you thinking? You know what I mean? Like, what the hell is that? It didn't matter.
True.
You know what I mean?
And it was easier to accept new powers at that point.
You weren't so caught up in it. And now with
they created their own dogma. As soon as they went back and actually saw the Jedis, the way they worked and the way the Sith. Like,
and it's good and bad because you can really immerse yourself in the story and try to find out a lot more about everything that's going on. But at the same time, you start.
You know what's weird is it enriches the world, but I think it takes away from the original stories.
Yes.
I mean, the overall.
In my opinion, it makes the originals not as good.
I would agree.
It doesn't
takes the magic away.
It doesn't taint. Yeah, but it makes it to where they're not. If you see the rest of them. Those aren't as
grand.
That star doesn't shine as bright as it did whenever you watched
I disagree. I think that the storylines of those, like in the way the characters played off of each other, the flow of the movies themselves were way better movies.
They were great movies.
They didn't focus on all the bullshit of midi-chlorians and the little stuff.
That was mentioned like fucking 3 times in the entire
midi-chlorians is one little thing that they kept adding, like little things that you didn't need to know about. They just did to kind of flesh that out whenever they should have went more on story than backstory.
Yeah,
I think story is more important than backstory. Is my whole point. And the original trilogy had more story than backstory.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Agreed.
That's my.
But that was the point of the prequel trilogy was to
which is why it wasn't as good. It was a backstory
Oh
trilogy
gosh,
rather than a story trilogy.
I have to disagree with you. That was the tragedy of Anakin Skywalker, man. That was the greatest story ever told. The prequels, in my opinion.
Fucking high.
In my opinion.
Yeah, your opinion is invalid, and I'm saying it here that you're the
Tolstoy's
only
a
person
bitch.
in the world.
War and Peace, my ass.
You attack things you've never even read.
That's fair.
That's not fair to attack things you never read.
Well, no, it's a fair assumption from you.
Oh.
Yeah, I attack things I've never read.
Team Eric, everybody, this is your guy.
I thought there was only one Borg queen. Wookie says he thought there was one Borg queen.
Yeah, you thought wrong.
Is there more than the old gal from the movie?
Sure is. Plenty of. Well, I mean, they all look pretty close to the same, but yeah, bunches of them. Did you know there was a Borg hangout called Unimatrix 00, where whenever they were dreaming, basically, the Borg, like some of the Borg drones, like less than 1% of them went to this virtual reality environment and hung out, like as their normal people. Like 7 of 9, she would go to this VR area, and they didn't know whenever they were out of their Borg regeneration cycle, but they were like normal people in there. They hung out in this park, and a lot of stuff about the Borg people don't know.
Right, so
Watch
like,
Voyager,
are they
tells a lot of
still
stuff.
like because they're made from a human body? Are they still
They're
like
not made from human bodies, but
well, the people were once human, right? The
Not
Borgs,
all of them.
all Borgs were. Oh,
So-
they were like a biological life form,
Right.
right? It doesn't. I'm not saying it has to be human, but you
Okay.
get what I mean.
sure.
So like, are they still confined to the constraints of the biological constraints?
So
like,
that's the
does
first
a
thing you
human
hear from
body die? Like after 90
Yeah, you got to
years?
have the human.
Can you be a Borg
No,
for
you'll
90
die.
years and you'll die still though?
You'll die.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Like that's not like a catch-all for
No, but see, whenever what's the first thing the Borg say? Do you remember what they say when they first come at you?
Yeah, resistance is futile.
But what do they say after that? The important part.
Oh,
We
it's
will-
something about simulation, right?
You will be assimilated.
That's-
We will add your biological and technological distinctiveness to our own. So that's their whole point. They want perfection. They're going out among the stars to assimilate technology and biology to make what they are, the Borg, better. So everything they add has just made the whole of their collective better. That's their whole point. They're more like a plague than like an actual thought. The whole part of the Queen, though, kind of ruined it for me. To make it now that there's an I among the we, eyes can become emotional. They can become petty. The Borg just as a force, as we are Borg. Here is our mission, not here is the mission I've given the Borg. That was my problem with the Queen. It was just they added it for the movie, and then they expanded upon it in Voyager just because they had already had it.
Right.
And it makes for decent drama.
Did
but
you see Light Peach's comment in the chat? It's very funny.
attacking things you don't know or understand is the American way. Team America, unless you're not an American, then go for Everett. Oh, you're a fucking retard.
I thought
Just
it was
saying.
great.
Yeah, funny stuff. All right, well, we might as well finish here with War Tech and catch up next time. We'll finish that on travel, service tech, and what else we got.
Travel, service tech, communications. Gosh, man, that was a long episode.
We might even got 2 more points out of this. Yeah, 2 more
How
episodes out of
long
this.
did we go?
It's about 45 minutes. Past,
Yeah.
Anyway, that'll be it for today, guys. Thanks for joining in. We'll try to get this podcast out today on, normal podcast places. Otherwise, we'll catch you maybe tomorrow, maybe next Monday. I don't know.
I don't know if we'll get in tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't think we'll be getting over there early tomorrow. So maybe we can get in the morning. I don't know. If
Okay.
we can, I want to.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, all right, everybody. We'll catch you next time. Thanks for joining us on this weird Wednesday recording session. Bye.
Later. Wookie says he loved Voyager. There's only one queen, but that queen is able to switch consciousnesses upon death to select a new
Right.
queen.
Right. That's what I mean. She's like, you can't kill the queen. She's in the computer. So she grabs a new body. She's still the queen. It's like your brain is in a computer, and you have 13 bodies, just out doing what you want. Think Dr. Manhattan, the way he can split himself up.
Right, right.
So that's the queen. Her consciousness is somewhere else, but she's got satellite bodies.
Fucking interesting, man.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna. Nah, we're still live.
Later, dudes.
Catch y'all later.
Rusty and Danielle, Light Peach, Wookie, Jessica, everybody. The Wookie says locust, but I think he meant locutus.
No, locusts were from. Wasn't that what it was in that kid, that Ender? Wasn't that the locust? Ender's Game?
No, they weren't locusts. They were called.
There was someone that had a swarm of like that. It was.
Yeah,
locusts.
well, okay, I guess
Maybe it was a firefly.
I never watched that, but Ender's Game, they weren't locusts. They were like it was like a weird alien insect, though. So I mean, maybe.
I don't recall.
What did they call them?
Anybody still out there who watch Ender's Game?
Ender's Game was a good movie. Did you like it?
Yeah, I thought it was okay.
I'm gonna Google that real quick.
What's
What
that,
was
19?
the name? of the aliens in Ender's Game. They were called Formex.
Wow,
also
that's way
known
off.
as Buggas.
That's way off.
Oh, those were books.
Hey, Kevin Anderson, I noticed earlier in the chat I wasn't able to say something. This is your first time joining. Welcome to the show, man.
Oh, is your mic on? I don't know. Can people?
Can anybody hear me? It looks like it is.
Yeah. It's on for sure. You guys
Check.
are talking about nanos taking over the world. Locusts would be the real world equivalent.
Oh, yeah. Like, it's kind of true.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll almost eat anything biological. It's if you add in a non-organics to what they eat, they can eat rock and anything like that.
Yeah, that'd be fucked.
Actually, it doesn't even matter. As long as they eat any biomass. It's pretty much the biblical version of the gray goo, locusts. Think about the plague of locusts.
They were like talking about swarms of locusts coming down, and
that's exactly right. Thank you for that, the
Gears
Wookiee.
of War.
How's Kashyyyk this time of year? Who said Gears of War? Oh, locusts are in Gears of War.
I never played that. I played it, obviously, the multiplayer, but I never did the storyline. The campaigns to 1, 2, 3, and 4. Did you ever play the Gears of War campaigns? Neither did I. Multiplayer was subpar in my opinion too. So, just saying.
You're pissing people off.
What, Gears of War? There ain't no Gears of War fans.
Why? What? Hold on, something's wrong here.
What are you doing, man?
I didn't save this right. Tires. Cancel. Hang with me.
Yeah, I don't think we touched enough Halo tech. Like, what military tech in Halo could we?
We can go right back into it. The Halo itself. It's not human tech, but Mjolnir armor, for instance, which we kind of talked about with the exoskeletons.
Yeah. So you got and then like the black suits that regulate temperature and shit like that were underneath the Mjolnirs.
Yeah.
You know, it was a 3-part program. You had the Mjolnir suit, the Cortana AI, and the biological advancements. With
I was gonna say it was more 3-part, but not Cortana was not one of the original parts.
Well,
Not they
what was
weren't
the other parts. You had
the indoctrination, the training.
Yeah, that was part.
They
of
weren't really meant to have the smart AIs like a Cortana. I mean, they had the ability to have an AI, but I would say the training for Spartans was the drugs, the mind
augmentation,
conditioning, and the physical augmentation.
So augmentation, Mjolnir, and you think indoctrination over AI?
I think so.
Man, I really
think about whenever they sent out the Spartans.
I think
they sent the Spartans out and involved Reach after that guy out in that fucking asteroid field.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
They didn't have AIs. They didn't even have their Mjolnir at that point.
No.
So what they had there was the only 2 of the parts, which was the indoctrination, and the training, and the physical changes,
the augmentations.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'd say the AI is very. I mean, it could be part of it.
I really think
there's a
in
small
one of the
part
games
of it.
They explained that was the 3 parts that was required.
What other? Okay, then tell me then. What other Spartan had an AI other than John? Boom.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was for him that was the 3 parts. Man, I have to rewatch The Fall of Ricci because I really thought that she explained
think about
it
that too.
as
Whenever he first
mean?
met Cortana, and they did that thing where he slapped that fucking rocket out of the air. I mean, that there would seem like it'd make it really important too.
Wait, what are you talking about?
So they were doing a testing to check out his reflexes and whatnot. The first time they were together, he was learning how to use Mjolnir with her. And
he didn't have her when he would learn how to use Mjolnir. He didn't get her
the first time
Pillar
with
of
her.
Autumn.
I'm talking about the first time with her. And he's running down like in this training course, and they shoot a rocket at him like an RPG, and he uses Cortana and his reflexes to smack that rocket as it's coming at him, like it's coming right at him. He just smacks it away.
I think you're wrong about that.
We'll Google it. Hey everybody, we're gonna go settle this bullshit.
Because
I don't know, we're not gonna do it on air. But.
The Noble team had
y'all
to
later.
take Cortana to the Pillar